Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with my review of Power Rangers Dino Supercharge episode 16. So, this was the sort of final official debut of Silver. He's been around as evil Doomwing, but now Zenowing has it back in charge. I've been pronouncing it Zenowing, but apparently it's Zenowing according to the show. But I'm not sure how much I trust people that say Ankle Zord instead of Ankylozord. But anyway, this was honestly a pretty good episode. It was probably one of the stronger episodes of both seasons. Still little minor problems with it, but for the most part, it was pretty good. At the core, a lot of it was that standard Power Rangers. A ranger doesn't want to work with them or do something on his own, and they're like, the only way to do things is teamwork. We're inept on our own. And I get that. Teamwork is, and working together and all that is a major part of the Power Rangers series in a lot of cases. It's definitely one of those worn into the ground trope episodes, not speaking just of this series, but of all the series. And I think, honestly, it would be a nice change of pace to get an episode that shows that there's actually value to splitting up sometimes, or maybe working on your own, and you don't always have to have a team. I kind of miss like Rangers like Eric that were straight up on their own for most of the series, or even Merrick, who was on his own for a lot, but you know, he would still work with the team. He wasn't totally antisocial, but he didn't need to be, you know, signing friendship bracelets with them, especially since we actually have two you know, Rangers acting independently. You have like Philip, and then you have Deadbeat Dad. So yeah, that's just kind of a nitpick about the series in general, is that sometimes it would be nice to show that, hey, you can still have them working on their own, and they can come help sometimes, but they don't always have to be kumbaya-ing. But anyway, aside from that, we did get some good stuff. We finally officially got an explanation of where the Zords came from. Zenowing built them, which is an explanation a long time in the making, and if you read the spoilers like I did, you've known this for a while, but it's been officially aired here now, which, okay, it is nice. I'm taking the win. It's definitely a good thing that they did indeed explain where they came from. I still think it was done extremely awkwardly. For the majority of the series, from episode 1 until this episode, it just feels like I was reading a redacted CIA document, and it just comes off as awkward. I think it would have been cooler if maybe they had just done the thing where the Zords were the dinosaurs that bonded with them, or the Energems straight up created the Zords like they seem to create everything else. But we got an explanation, it's good. I just think that it could have been handled better still. With this explanation, I'm not entirely sure how, but maybe like put little breadcrumbs or some sort of hinting at it instead of just outright not caring to explain it. It's still awkward, but at least we got it. I would still love to get an explanation of actually where the Energems came from, for what reason, more about Keeper, more about Zenowing, more about Kendall, but hey. But so yeah, in this episode, we also just sort of got a flashback that showed how after he bonded with the Silver Energem, Arcanon used the Dark Energem to split him, and at the very end of the episode, we got Heckyl's backstory as well, when Poisandra helped him escape, which was really funny because she like handed him a tiny bomb, and he's like, excellent, and then he like went and put it on the outside and blew up the cell so he could get out. I don't know why Poisandra didn't just put it on there herself. It just seemed like it was wasting seconds, but whatever. That's just a weird thing I noticed. But we got his explanation at the end after Arcanon got the Dark Energem back. We got a flashback that Heckyl was protecting the Dark Energem, and he's like, you won't get it, I'm on this planet named Sentai because it's too on the nose of a reference. And he got knocked down, and he grabbed the Dark Energem, and it split him into Heckyl and Snide, and then apparently Arcanon wiped his memory right after. And the thing about that is, I think the concept of the Dark Energem is really cool and how it affected multiple people, but it does seem weird, like, Heckyl's memory was wiped, so that's a thing, but like with Zenowing and Doomwing, they split, creating evil Doomwing, but Zenowing was still a good guy. They made a point in this episode how him being trapped sort of hardened him a little bit, and he became a little bit kind of a jerk, I guess. Like when Riley went to protect him in this episode, he was like, it was his own fault for getting in the way. Damn right, son. But they made a point of like that kind of changed him a little bit, just kind of making him a little bit harder. That sounds really gross, but it didn't make him evil. But then you have Heckyl and Snide, where after his memory was wiped, they both became evil. Now, there's all kinds of stuff you can reason, like, oh, because his memory was wiped, maybe he just thought he was evil, so he went with it, or because he was wiped, the influence of Snide was easier to become evil. There's all kinds of stuff you could headcanon. I just wish it was more clearly explained, and who knows, maybe it will. I don't remember anything from the block of texts run on set and summaries from the French airings, but hopefully, or at least it would be nice to get a little bit clarification on that, because it just seems like another really small inconsistency. Like so many problems I have with the series could be fixed with a simple line, or simply not saying anything when it doesn't need to be said, but it just seems weird that Zenowing was able to preserve his goodness and Heckyl wasn't, even though he didn't have his memory wiped, but because they were both pretty evil. I only think of it because, well, not only Heckyl's demeanor, but I think at one point, if I remember right, one of the monsters on Sledge's ship outright said that he blew up a planet. I mean, that's more than just, hey, I'm kind of influenced as evil because I lost my memory. That's just like straight up evil. So it's neat. It was a cool backstory, and I just wish we would get a little clarification on the rules, but they're not really very good at the rules on this show. But other than that, that was pretty much the meat of the episode. Honestly, like I said, I read the spoilers, but I didn't know that the Heckyl stuff was in the same episode. I thought it was going to happen at the beginning of next week. So we got sort of two backstories, which was neat. And then the middle of the episode was more or less that teamwork stuff. Riley protected Zenowing, as I mentioned before, and then he healed him, and in healing him, he basically taught him the technique he used, which this is the technique, which explains the footage from Kyoryuger, because Kyoryu Green worked with Silver closely. I think that was, I don't want them to mirror the Kyoryuger storyline, but it was just kind of weird. Honestly, I would have rather seen Zenowing be appreciative of Riley's sacrifice and then just heal him, not heal him and give him intersect powers, but heal him, and then maybe at the end of the episode show him coming around and now training Riley, or training with Riley as he wanted at the beginning of the episode, and then next week debut the fact that he knows the technique because he's been working with Zenowing after they bonded a little bit. I thought it would have just been a little less awkward, a little less of a, I don't know, shoehorn. It was kind of weird. And then the other event happened, which was Zenowing getting his Energem and transforming into Silver. And Zenowing's actually pretty neat. Like I said, I would rather him actually just kind of be off on his own a little more, and then we don't have to do the teamwork thing so much. But his voice seems better in this episode. It seems kind of just more like a generic heroic voice. Like last week, it seemed like he was under and overemphasizing words at random, so that was definitely better. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Actually, quite a lot happened in this episode. Overall, just a solid entry. It was nice to actually just get the good plot stuff we've been getting, and no forced filler plot, whether it was small or large. There was no dumb filler in this whatsoever, which was really nice. But yeah, so hopefully that streak continues. I think I remember there's still some more fillery stuff to be had, but at least there's good villain stuff going on. So overall, solid entry for Dino Charge. It was a good week. I'll probably give it about a 7 out of 10. That's good. So anyway, until next time, make sure you have Crazy Podcast at WritersRangeRambles.com, and of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Till next time, Dawson Ryder, signing out.